Shalom, shalom, Chaverim. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You are watching Israeli News Live. And of course, today we have a very special broadcast, a little different, more of an educational broadcast, you might say. We have Daniel Austin with us today, author of a brand new book. And it is a book called Chelsea. Actually, let me just pull the page up real quick before we get started here with Daniel there. But it's Chelsea, the Golden Retriever. And I think actually, Daniel, the name of the book is a little different. Let's see. Chelsea's New Beginning is the name of the actual book. Daniel, welcome to our broadcast here. Glad to have you. So,
go ahead.
Anyway, Daniel, listen, this is exciting to me. I mean, I'm an author myself. And one of the things I've always wanted to do myself was actually write a children's book. And I never have found the time to do so. But you've managed to pull this off. And from what I understand, this is going to be a series of books that you're writing. If you would, just tell us what inspired you to write children's books.
Well, I've always wanted to write my own stories for as long as I can remember. I love stories in general. I grew up watching movies, loving movies, performing in front of an audience, and I took steps to better myself as a storyteller. I visited websites to polish my writing skills. I took creative writing classes in high school and college. And this story in particular is very special to me because I'm basing the main character on a real golden retriever I had named Chelsea.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Daniel, how old are you now?
30 years old.
30 years old. And how long has it been since you actually had your own golden retriever that you're speaking of, or do you still have the golden retriever that you kind of based the story on?
She passed away a long time ago, when I was 7 years old. So it's been, wow, over 20 years.
Wow, that is amazing. You know, it's really inspiring for me because my first dog that I had was a golden retriever as well. It's a short-haired golden retriever. His name was Dipshay. I got him when I guess I was either 4 or 5 years old, and he was with me up until maybe about 12, 13 years old, something like that. And of course, I miss him greatly. So I can understand why you would want to write about a dog that has been part of your own life. Where did the of course, we kind of answered that, where the idea of the golden retriever came from, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, she was the best dog we ever had. She had a huge influence on my childhood. She was just a really laid-back dog, and she just loved children. There were a lot of children in our household growing up, and I've never known her to be fearful or aggressive. She was always real friendly to everybody.
So with that being stated there, you know, you come from a big family, which I'm aware of that as well. When you write about the characters in your book, are these characters also based on real life characters?
Most of them are. Real-life experiences have inspired me to write many things in this book, as well as events I see happening in my own life in the not-so-distant future. And I've also been employed at dog daycare and boarding facilities, and to my knowledge, no one had written any books about dogs going to daycare. I started out thinking they would just be one-off stories about dogs at daycare, and I'd have Chelsea be the main character. But I then realized Chelsea needed a background, and when I wrote Chelsea's New Beginning, I knew this whole thing needed to be a full story from beginning to end.
It is amazing there. So when you write the story, do you take it beyond your own life's experience, perhaps with Chelsea, and make it more like what if you would have had more time with her in real life as you write about it?
That's exactly what I do.
That's amazing. That's the type of story that's just like they had a little kid's story years ago, the never-ending story or something like that. It just keeps going and going. That's nice. I like that. Before we go a little bit, some more questions I want to ask you. I want to share with the people your Facebook page here. This is Daniel Austin's Facebook page on the book that he's writing here, Chelsea's New Beginning. And of course, you have right here at the beginning, Chelsea the Golden Retriever is the Facebook page itself. So if you want to go visit Daniel's Facebook page or even his YouTube channel, is the same thing, Chelsea the Golden Retriever. Right now there's 16 subscribers, and shoot, we got to subscribe ourselves, so make that 17 subscribers. And I've actually watched some of the videos on here, so it's kind of nice because you get a narration, and I think that's an awesome idea too, Daniel, for children that would want to hear the story, but maybe not old enough to read as of yet. So have you always known that you wanted to write children's books?
Well, I've always known that I wanted to be an author, and I was open to the idea of writing children's books, and the right ideas just came to me.
There you go. That makes sense. So if you would, tell us a little bit about your path about becoming a writer. And you spoke about that a little bit already, but if you can kind of give us some more details. I know you said you took creative writing courses, things like that, but if you can be a little bit more detailed on that.
Well, as a child, my siblings and I would make up stories using the toys we had to play with. In 3rd grade, I had a friend who wrote stories and inspired me to do it myself. When I was in 4th grade, we as a class were assigned to write stories, and one of my ideas from playtime with my siblings crept in, and my story was actually selected to be performed by a high school theater group. And since then, I would write stories off and on, including at least 2 attempts to write a full novel. Some things that would stand in my way of making a career out of my writing would be writer's block and not knowing how to overcome it, and the fact that I have Asperger's. I believe that for a while, my Asperger's affected the way I wrote my pieces, in the sense that I didn't always have a full grasp on how life works, and I let it discourage me. It always held me back from things in my life that were very important to me as well. But over time, I said to myself, I'm in charge of my life, not my autism. If I'm inspired to write something, I'm going to write it, and I'm going to share it with the world. I'm always willing to better my writing, and I'll do whatever it takes to succeed and make my stories heard.
You know, you bring up something that I didn't even know we would discuss in this interview here, Daniel. And if you could, can you tell those that are listening in tonight a little bit about Asperger's? I know it is a form of autism, but can you share with us a little bit about that? What actually is Asperger's?
Well, it's more high functioning than other forms of autism. I'm sure you hear that a lot.
But the thing is you've overcome those challenges. Like you said, you're taking control of your own life and you're moving forward. And that's a commendable thing to do. I mean, I remember meeting you when we were there at the conference there that your mom and some others there in Kansas had hosted there. And you were just a pleasant man to meet. You know, you seemed to have a good control on your life. And I was even amazed to even hear that you had a form of autism to begin with, because you never struck me as that type of a person. So to me, it tells me that you have taken control of your life, and by making the step to actually write a children's book, and not only a children's book, but a children's series, shows that you can do anything you want if you put your heart in it.
Yeah, that's my sentiments exactly, really. I'm determined to live not just as normal of a life as possible, but just pursue and go after my dreams.
Absolutely, Daniel. Listen, tell us a little bit about some of the characters in your book series, Chelsea the Golden Retriever. We're really curious to know a little bit more about them.
Well, in the story, Chelsea is abandoned at an animal shelter, and when she's there, she meets a giant schnauzer named Brizo, who is based on a real dog by one of my former employers. Brizo is the first friend that Chelsea makes in her time of need, and when Chelsea gets adopted by Nathan, we get the feeling that Brizo's story is not over yet. Nathan becomes Chelsea's new owner by the end of the book, and he serves as a benevolent authority figure. Chelsea looks up to him for safety and guidance. Nathan has two other dogs, a German Shepherd named Rocky and a Yorkie named Lily, whom Chelsea becomes very close with. Lily is based on a real Yorkie with the same name, and she's like Chelsea's big sister. She's wise but fun-loving at the same time. Rocky, though, let's just say he prefers to take his time with new members of the family. Nathan also has three cats, Ophelia, George, and Sassy, who are based on real cats I knew working at a cat clinic. Ophelia and George don't want anything to do with Chelsea, or any of the other dogs for that matter, but Sassy is friends with Chelsea and becomes a sort of sub-guidance as well.
That is amazing. I was showing some of the video clips that you have on YouTube, especially when you spoke about the giant schnauzer in the background, which does kind of bring me to a different question as well, and that's the artist of your book. And I'm a little out of sequence in the way I was going to ask my questions tonight, but you do see these amazing photos that go along with your story timeline. Can you tell us a little bit about the artist of the book?
Her name is Melissa Nettleship, and she has been wonderful. Her style of art is exactly what I imagined for Chelsea's world, and she has been very reliable and dedicated to this project. I couldn't have gotten as far as I have without her.
She needs to cry.
She has her own Tumblr account, and you can check out Melissa's art. It's called, I'll spell it out for you here, Adelaide Art. Okay. It's called Adelaide Art. You can find it on Facebook and Twitter. She's just an amazing artist.
We will take what I'll do is I'll share a link in the description for those of you that are interested in knowing a little bit more about the artist. You can go to the description later and check that out as well. Let me ask you this as well, Daniel. When will your book series, Chelsea the Golden Retriever, become available for people to actually purchase? I know they can see clips online. You can see it on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, as well as your Facebook and Twitter account. But when will they actually be able to purchase a copy of the book?
As of now, I am shooting for sometime in early December, and it will first be available on Amazon.
That'll be amazing. So, as far as being able to find out more information about the upcoming book series, Chelsea the Golden Retriever, what's a good way for them to contact you about this?
Well, we mentioned my Facebook and Twitter page earlier, as well as my YouTube channel. But in the near future, Chelsea will have her own website. I am working with my publisher on that.
That is very amazing. We appreciate that information as well. One thing, too, I want to share with you guys out there that are listening, and Daniel, he's created a GoFundMe account to help get this book published. And I can't help but understand that need. I know the first book I ever published was Israel, Are They Still God's People? And you know, when you're an unknown author, you normally end up doing your first book as self-published. So it's not that easy to get going to start with, unless there's a publisher out there willing to take your work and put it on the market for you. And so Daniel did start a GoFundMe page for that purpose there, and we've already placed that in the description link for you. If you don't see it when you're watching live, just come back to the video a little bit later there. And you can help support that project there because it is quite expensive. And I was fortunate enough, there was one man that really believed in the work that I was doing as well. And he ended up footing the bill to make our work possible. And it's mainly because of the artwork, the editing that has to be put into the project, and then the printing and stuff like that just to get it going, especially if you print a certain number to where it'd be a little bit more affordable for people to be able to get a hold of that information. And so you can actually see here on the screen now the GoFundMe page. It's GoFundMe.com. And of course it's /F/help-make-children-books-bestseller. Daniel, we really hope that Chelsea's New Beginnings will become a bestseller for you. We congratulate you on the work that you've done, and and of course, you're a living testimony that miracles happen. And it seems like that God is blessing your family to see those type miracles on a daily basis.
I appreciate you saying that, sir.
So thank you so much, Daniel, for joining us tonight. Friends, listen, go subscribe to the channel. You know, we're ordering the books for our daughter as soon as they come out as well. But I know especially many of you like us, you have grandchildren, you have small children maybe, and I think it's a great way to give them something to read, because that's one of the greatest gifts you can give a child, is the gift of reading. Daniel Austin, thank you, my brother. God bless you. God bless your family. And thank you for being here with us here on Israeli News Live.
Thank you very much, Stephen.